What's up? It's your boy Luis, and I'm about to be sharing some knowledge about mid 1960s, mid 1960s muscle cars, and mostly talking about two muscle cars in particular. Now, the reason why I feel like I'm credible to talk about this topic is because I own one of the muscle cars that I'll be sharing today. This won't affect anything that I'm going to be saying because I'm going to be saying both the good things and the bad things of both of the two cars. But I feel I'm credible because I really like muscle cars. I've done my research, and my uncles love them. I was born sort of like into liking these cars, and I feel like these cars have their own personality once you get to see them and stuff. So we'll be introducing the first car, and the first car is the Ford Mustang. Here's a picture of it. Now, the Ford Mustang came out in 1965. Yeah, 1965, and let me show you its rival, its competitor. That is the Camaro, the Chevy Camaro. Now, the Camaro came out in 1967, so Mustang coming out in 1965, Camaro coming out 2 years later. Chevy wanted an answer to Ford's pony car that they made. I'll get into that in just a second. So, the whole reason why I'm doing this is so that we can see the rivalry between when they came out in the 1960s to where they are in present day, 2020. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of how they look now, and they do not look anything similar to when they did back in the 1960s. So this is a Z01, Camaro Z01, and this is a 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Now that was a mouthful, but both of these cars are supercharged. Now it's a upgraded engine, bigger engines than what they had back in the day. The Camaro now has a 6.2 liter V8 powered by a supercharger, and the Ford, the Mustang, is powered by, I believe, to be a 5.4 liter V8 with a supercharger as well. And now these two cars, the Z01 and the GT500, are both the top of the line cars of both companies, of both Ford and Chevy. Now, both of these cars, starting price are like $70,000. 2020 Camaro Z01 is around $70,000 and $80,000 for the GT500. Now, that's muscle per dollar, I would say, because it's a lot of power, and that's a whole lot of car. But let's not get into that. Let's get into the 1960s. Now, Ford was getting wrecked by Chevy. Every car that that Ford was coming out with, Chevy had an answer to it. So they came out with a family car. Chevy came out with a family car. They came out with a sports car. They came out with a sports car. They were trying to beat them relentlessly. And now Ford, seeing that they needed to find an advantage by making something open up, make their own category of car, something that wasn't done in this present day. They didn't know if they could do it, but they did. They made their own, They made their own category of cars. They called it the pony cars. And this news clipping from from 1990, it reads that the original Mustang was the pinnacle of what a pony car is. Now, I get it's a little cliche, pony car, it's a car with a horse on it, but they called it the pony car. And so in automotive news clipping website I found says that the reason why Chevy called their Camaro a Camaro is because it means it's the camaraderie between man and machine. And you can talk to a car guy and they can say that the only true way to drive a car is driving it through manual. And now, because you feel like you're connected to the vehicle, now any way that you drove this car, the Camaro, you felt like you were connected to the vehicle. And that's why it was such a big hit back in the 60s also. So you have your Ford Mustang, your regular Ford Mustang with an inline 6, just a 6-cylinder, and you have your Camaro coming standard with a, what I believe was a 350, was a V8, but it was kind of small. It's not as big as present day. But the rivalry between those two car companies spawned other cars to want to make other muscle cars of their own. Now, I'm not going to get into those other cars, but in a head-to-head, the 2019 Camaro SS and the 2019 Mustang GT, if I go through and scroll through this whole thing, it'll say at the end of the day, the Mustang is the greater car. Now, to me, owning a Camaro, I won't say that it's bogus, but I will say that just because the present day Mustang has more horsepower than the present day Camaro does not mean it's overall the better car. I would say it's how the driver looks at himself when he's behind the car. Now, I like the Camaros, I like the Mustangs. There's no bias of what I'm looking through. There's no bias I see, but I wouldn't really be able to choose a car, because whenever Ford made a hit, Chevy came back and hit another. The Fords came out with the Mustangs came out with the GTs, which was the V8 to answer to Camaro's V8s, and those were a little smaller, but they still packed a punch. And now they had different models. Camaros came out with the SSs, which were the Super Sports, and they also had the RSs, Rally Sport. Just a bunch of things came together for these two car companies to still be duking it out today. Now, you can kind of say that Mustangs are winning because Camaros are coming. They're stopping production in 2023, but that doesn't mean that they lost the battle, the rivalry, you can say, because in 2000 they stopped production for the Chevy Camaro, and then the movie Transformers came out, and that was a 2-hour, how would you say, 2-hour commercial of the Chevy Camaro. If you guys remember Bumblebee, that was a Camaro. Let me bring that up real quick. It was a good way for them to market their car. See, look, everyone knows what car that is because of Transformers. But if I'm saying anything, it's just saying that through the years, the Camaro and the Mustang have been head to head, and the car community knows that the rivalry is still there, even if one car dies out or another car dies out. The car community loves and cherishes these vehicles because it's a part of them. And I can say it's in them almost that these cars are just alive, you can kind of say. Alive in the sense that, like, the American, it screams America, you know? I'm sorry, but I'm passionate about this. But yeah, through the ages, they've been duking it out ever since, not knowingly. But yeah, thank you for listening to me ramble on about these cars. I hope that I came across good to anybody that doesn't know about these cars or doesn't know that much. But yeah, thank you.